The Sportsocracy.
Who we gotta cheer for on Sundays now?
It is ESPN Asheville, and the NFL Draft is right around the corner. Next Thursday, first round of the NFL Draft.
74 hours of commercial-free draftness.
We will have all of your coverage pick by pick in the Sportsocracy on YouTube exclusively. So go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel, and you can join us as we will be live for all 7 rounds.
And we will have an announcement later in the week of how you can join us live for Draftmas.
Yes, it's going to be so much fun, and it all kicks off with the number 1 pick, which belongs to the Carolina Panthers. We know what they're going to do with the number 1 pick. It's Bryce Young. Bryce Young, the story came out today. He's already called off all of his visits elsewhere. He's already met with the Panthers. He's already met with the Houston Texans.
What's
End
funny?
of message, repeat the line. I don't need to meet with anybody else.
Yeah, I'm good. You keep your steak, Indianapolis Colts, because I ain't fitting to be there.
No, I'm either going number 1 or number 2.
He's going number 1. That's no doubt. It is. I everything short of putting it in stone. The cognitive test with C.J. Stroud really narrowed that in, especially with how much Tepper and that front office put into that.
Mm-hmm.
Where it gets interesting is, all right, so what do you do from there?
Second round pick number 39. What's the need to fill?
Well, I mean, to me, this is not a team that has – I've liked a lot of what they've done in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for there to be a receiver there. I just don't think it's going to happen. I feel like there's a run coming on receiver that starts somewhere in the early 20s and runs through the first 5 picks of the second day. And you're talking Flowers and Quentin Johnston and Jordan Addison, maybe Jonathan Mingo. You're going to see a lot of these guys come off the board.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily know that you're going to catch a value there. I will tell you this, though. Carolina has done a great job of keeping who's been in the building somewhat under wraps. The private visits, it's really hard. It is really hard for people to not figure out who you have there. Jonathan Mingo is one of the players that they've had in the building.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be shocked if he were to fall, if that was the pick there early in the second round.
To me, you definitely have to pick up a wide receiver early in this draft. You need to give another weapon to Bryce Young. Sure, you got Adam Thielen, DJ Shark. I mean, these are short-term solutions. And I don't know that there's anybody on this roster that they actually believe will be an impact player for years to come.
No, there's
Terrace Marshall and Shi Smith, and although
Terrace
if
Marshall,
you listen to Scott Fitterer, he brings up Laviska Shenault all the time.
Well, I mean, he did trade for him, so
He did.
If it doesn't work out, that's your boo-boo.
And I don't know. Maybe he's just in love with him, and the coaching staff may not be, or maybe they're all in love with him, and we'll see a bigger role for Laviska in this upcoming season.
If you look at who Carolina's bringing in, it's a slew of receivers. They even had Jackson Smith and Jigba in the building. What does that tell you? Top 30 visits. You only get 30 of them.
Mm-hmm.
You're picking at 1. You do not have a pick that he could – means Carolina's a trade-up target.
Right.
If a guy falls, they want to make sure they've done their due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
He's one that I've been told they're really interested in. But he would have to slip further than I think he will. But they could be a move target. But then you look at everything else, and they're really heavy on edge guys. They're definitively coming out of the early part of this draft with an edge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they actually think corner is a bigger need than maybe I do. I like the corners on this team, except Dante Jackson.
I was going to say.
Who I should probably call the James Conner team the Dante Jackson team, because he's another one that draws my ire a lot.
Yeah, you don't like him a whole lot. But between J.C. Horn and C.J. Henderson.
I mean, I just think you're fine there. Don't be shocked if they add somebody to the interior of that line. They had TCU Steve Avila in that was a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's somebody that you could see with that second-round pick. I just feel like Carolina has done a good job of doing that thing that I talk about a lot. You don't have to do anything. Can you go into the season with your top 3 receivers being Terrace Marshall, Adam Thielen, and DJ Chark? Well, yeah. Is it the best scenario? No. It's kind of like having Hayden Hurst as your only real tight end. Do I love that? No. But if the board doesn't fall your way and one of these high-end tight ends doesn't fall to you, I'm okay with that.
It's better than what you had.
No doubt.
Or
Hayden Hurst is better than Tommy Tremble.
Better than what you still have. Because they didn't get rid of Ian Thomas. They haven't got rid of Tommy Tremble.
No. Tremble's going to end up playing way more fullback than he's played in the past.
Absolutely.
H-back.
You got Miles Sanders in the offseason. I like the moves that they have made so far. And with a great draft, they're no doubt going to be in the discussion for winning this division.
Look, there's a reason that every analyst that you hear talk about this team and talk about the quarterbacks goes, Carolina is the Rolls Royce of this draft class. As let's say Houston takes one, Indianapolis, and the Raiders or the Titans. Every one of those teams has a huge ward.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina's biggest ward is you got a lot of guys that are probably one step ahead on the depth chart of where they should be. You don't have a natural one. No, but you've got a great accumulation of 2s and 3s. So it could be worse. Tight end, I don't necessarily think you have the dynamic guy. Running back, I don't think your room is really deep, but you do have a guy in Miles Sanders that I really like. And then you get to the defense, which is already really good. You're just adding pieces to that.
Right.
I would like to see them add a safety at some point over the 3 days, but that's more of a day 3 need. Carolina's at that point where they can just take the best player available. I have a funny feeling that's going to end up being an edge pretty high after you take Bryce Young at 1. Then you'll probably catch a value at receiver at some point, throw a corner in there, call it a day. And you have a franchise quarterback for the first time in a long time.
You are in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400.